Hello, readers. It's time for today's reading lesson. Today, you will be describing in depth a character in a story or drama, drawing on implied details in the text. Let's get started. I'll remind you of the story elements we talked about in literary text. Today, we are focusing on characters. In the past, you have seen this anchor chart talking about how to describe a character. And the difference between younger grades and older grades is that we won't focus so much on what we see on the outside or the physical traits, but we will focus on the personality traits, what we see through the character's thoughts, actions, and words. Characters are the people who are important to the story. In some cases, that would be an animal or object that can be a character. When animals or objects are given human characteristics, this is known as personification. We often see animals or objects as characters in fantasy stories. But we're going to continue our lesson with the realistic fiction story we worked with yesterday, Stray by Cynthia Rylant. A copy of the story is provided for you. So if you want to, go to the resources section of this page and you can go through the story yourself. Since we read it yesterday, I'm not going to go through the whole story. We'll jump right in to describing character. Now, as I was reading today, I thought I'd focus on Doris. And I went through the story and found some actions that really helped me understand about Doris as a character. When I did this, I went through and I made a list where I identified how she must be as a person if she were in other situations. So let's go through this list. One of the first things I notice is that when Doris sees the dog, she calls to the dog and takes the dog in the house without asking. Now, it takes a little bit of bravery to do this because we shouldn't approach strange dogs without some safety concerns in mind. And so she's pretty bold. I put that word there as well because she's reaching out to this dog and she's fearless about it. She doesn't seem to be concerned about, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I should ask my parents first. She just takes charge and makes it happen. I also put that because she took the dog inside in a time period where it's cold and it's icy and it's snowy, that she must be very caring because she's taking care of the dog when she knows the dog cannot take care of itself. The dog exhibited, shivering and things like that that let her know the dog needed some help. I put that she was obedient and respectful. I noticed that she's shoveling the sidewalk. She probably would rather be playing video games, but she's doing what she's told. She's helping out with household chores. Her parents tell her she can't keep the dog. She has to keep the dog in the basement. So again, I find her very obedient, which means she's obeying those rules set by her parents, and respectful. She's not arguing. I notice she doesn't talk back. She doesn't tell her parents no. She does what they ask. In one paragraph, she puts that she thinks the dog is about 6 months old and some type of shepherd. So she also knew when it wanted company when it was near the basement door. So I put that she was intelligent and knowledgeable. I could have put that she was smart, but when I'm thinking about my writing, I want to make sure I'm putting in vocabulary that really make me sound like I know what I'm talking about as a writer. And then at the end of the story, she tries to convince her parents that she can take care of the dog. I put that she was determined. She really wanted to keep this dog, and she's making her point with her parents, but she does it in a respectful way. So when I'm writing today, I'm going to just focus on one or two character traits. And because I'm focusing on the story overall, I'm going to go with the most obvious trait that appears through the problem and solution. The problem in this case Doris really wants to keep this dog, but her parents have told her no. And her solution is to try to prove to them she's capable of this without being disrespectful. So here's my writing that I've put together. I believe Doris is respectful. She does what her parents ask by shoveling the walk and keeping the dog in the basement. She wants to keep the dog, but knows her parents make the decision. So she makes an effort to feed the dog and keep it quiet. She does not demand to keep the dog, but tries to explain her point of view that she could care for the dog, even though it would be hard work. While Doris is determined to get her way, she is never rude or disrespectful to her parents' opinion. When they tell her the dog needs to go, she is polite, even though she is sad. In the end, Doris didn't tell her parents she knew they would let her have the dog, and she thanks them with her smile. So you'll see that I've given a character trait. I've given the name of respect as her character trait. I put that she was determined in there, but explained that even though she was determined, she was respectful. And I get these character traits from reading many different characters, but I've also provided a link to a list of character traits for you to review so that when you're writing about character today, you'll be able to refer to that list and make a good decision. Some things I want to point out. Please notice, I did not just write Doris is respectful. I gave a few examples from the text and I explain why I think that example is showing respect. So when you're writing, it's not a quick or one or two sentences. It really is taking two or three examples from the text and explaining how this character connects to that character trait. I hope you have a good understanding of writing about character. But if you have any questions, just refer back to the lesson. Let's move on to some guided practice for you today.